Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the Rock Squad channel, and welcome to the Rock Albums Ranked for the Manic Street Preachers. That's right, the 14th studio album from the Manics, called the Ultra Vivid Lament, comes out this Friday, September the 10th. So I thought, what better time than now to go back through the Manics discography and rank the albums from my least favorite to favorite. And when I do these rankings, the couple things that I want to say off the bat is that the rankings are about the music itself, obviously the albums that I enjoy the most and the albums that I enjoy the least, but it's also about how I rank these albums in my life. I think we can all attest to the fact that albums come and go at different points in your life. You may get into them right when they come out. You might get into them at a later point. Maybe when they come out at a certain time, you're not into it. And maybe you get into it a little bit later. And I can say that for the Manic Street Preachers records. I've been a fan of theirs for a long time, over 20 years. I've seen them live a couple of times, saw them do the Holy Bible tour in Toronto at the Danforth Music Hall. So I thought it'd be cool to break out this shirt for this Rock Albums Ranked. And so, yeah, I'm a huge fan of the band, but their albums have kind of ebbed and flowed through my life. There's been points in my life where I was really into the Manics and points in my life where maybe I wasn't into them as much. And so that goes into my rankings as well. So I think it's a lot of fun to do these kind of videos and rank the albums. So I'm going to do it consisting of their first 13 studio albums on this edition of Manic Street Preachers Rock Albums Ranked. All right, so before I get to the official list, I just want to do a couple honorable mentions. These are not studio albums; these ones are compilations, but they are still worthy of your attention and worthy in the Manic Street Preachers discography. The first one being the forever delayed Greatest Hits collection that came out in 2002. Special edition has remixes on it. Very, very cool. If you want to get all the hits from the first little bit of the Manic Street Preachers, first decade or so of the Manic Street Preachers career. That's a good one. Also, B-side album Lipstick Traces, A Secret History of the Manic Street Preachers. This is a solid compilation of all their B-sides that they had up until that point. Really, really solid stuff if you want to get more than just the albums. And then another honorable mention for the complete singles, National Treasures, Manic Street Preachers. This was a great compilation that came out a while back. This has all their singles up until that point, features an awesome cover of The Does, This Is the Day. So that is also going in our honorable mentions. All right, so let's get to the rock albums ranked for the Manic Street Preachers. In at number 13, we have Generation Terrorists. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from hardcore Manic Street Preachers fans that this one is at the bottom of the list, but I got to say, it's the Manic Street Preachers album that I've connected to the least over the years, despite having some great songs on it. Motorcycle Emptiness, obviously, Slash and Burn, You Love Us, Nat West, Barclays, Midlands, Lloyds. There are lots of great songs on this record. I don't like the fact that Sean Moore's drumming is not on this album. He was replaced by a drum machine, so that kind of knocks it down the list for me as well. And I know it's a great album. It's their debut. It's a great debut record. It gets a little bit long in the tooth for me, and I just never really connected to it. Still haven't, despite multiple listens over the years. It's just something that I've never really gotten into. So I'm sorry to the hardcore longtime Manic Street Preachers fans. You guys are going to hate me for this one. But in at number 13 is Generation Terrorists. Coming in at number 12, we have Know Your Enemy, which came out in 2001, hot on the heels of This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours. And on this record, the Manics just really went for it. Or they went for broke on this record, doing all sorts of different genres to varying degrees of success. And I do like this record. It just doesn't really hang very well together for me. It doesn't feel very cohesive. So it just feels like a random collection of random songs, despite having some great songs on it, like Found That Soul, Ocean Spray, So Why So Sad, Let Robeson Sing, The Year of Purification, My Guernica. So many great songs on this record. It just doesn't really feel cohesive to me. And so that's why it's never really stood out in the Manic Street Preachers discography. So in at number 12, we have Know Your Enemy. Coming in at number 11, we have Journal for Plague Lovers. Yes, I actually saw the Manic Street Preachers on this tour. It's strange that most of the tours that I've seen them on, or the two that I've seen them on, were tours that were based around the lyrics of Richie Edwards, who was their guitarist that went missing in the mid 90s. He was a huge influence lyrically and kind of in the visual aesthetic of the band for the first little bit of their career, and he's never been found to this day. But they did use some of his unused lyrics for Journal for Plague Lovers. I also have the album on LP here. Went to that tour. It was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it's coming in a little bit low on the list in their number 11. Again, I've just never really connected to this album, even though I really like some of the songs on this record. I love Jackie Collins' Existential Question Time, Me and Stephen Hawking. I love Marlon J.D. That's a great song as well. But maybe it just feels a little bit too nihilistic for me. I'm a fan of the Manic Street Preachers more in themic and maybe melodic side. This one, not quite as melodic as their other records, especially when you think about the records that surrounded it, like Send Away the Tigers and Postcards from a Young Man, which came out afterwards. Those were very anthemic, big records. So I do enjoy it, but it doesn't really rank high for me, despite its use of lyrics from Richie Edwards, which is always going to be a plus for the Manic Street Preachers. Anytime they can use his lyrics, it's always a cool thing. It's just not a record that I really connected to as much. So in at number 11, we have Journal for Plague Lovers. And coming in at number 10 is the most recent album from the Manics before the Ultra Vivid Lament comes out this week, and that is 2018's Resistance is Futile. And as I was saying earlier on, it's not sometimes with these records, it's not so much the album itself and the music that makes it go lower on this rankings list. It's like when it came out in my life. And this came out in 2018 at a time when I was really listening to a lot of heavy music, still am, but listening to a lot of different heavy UK rock, listening to like a lot of Biffy Clyro and Don Broco and that kind of stuff, Lower Than Atlantis. And so when this album came out, I just wasn't in Manics mode. And that kind of affects how it ranks for me, because it's not an album that, again, I really connected to. I really do like it, but it just didn't really come at me in a time in my life when I was really maybe ready to hear it as much as I have been at other times in my life. But I love International Blue. I love Liverpool Revisited, Sequels of Forgotten Wars. Hold Me Like Heaven is fantastic, and as well as some of the bonus tracks on this record too. But yeah, it just came at a time when I wasn't really listening to the Manics very much. And so maybe I should give it another shot, and maybe I would enjoy it a little bit more now. But we're going to put it in at number 10, Resistance is Futile. Coming in at number 9, we have Rewind the Film. Sorry, guys, you can't see it very well. Very light colored album. But yeah, in at number 9 is Rewind the Film. I really do like this record when it came out. I was in a little bit more of a manic spot when this album came out. Really enjoyed it right from the get-go. It's kind of the more quiet side to Futurology, which came out the year after in 2014. They were kind of like companion records when you think about it. But this album has so many great songs on it. This Sullen Welsh Heart, Show Me the Wonder, Rewind the Film, which has Richard Hawley on it. Rewind the Film again. So fantastic. Love that song. My favorite song on this record is I Miss the Tokyo Skyline. Absolutely fantastic. I love the lyrics on that song. And I know this is coming in at number 9. So people think, well, you can't like it that much if it's at number 9. But Manic Street Preachers have a lot of albums and a lot of great songs. So I think we're getting into the point where I pretty much like all these albums a lot. It's just they gotta fall somewhere on this list. And I really do like it. As you can see, a lot of these album versions of the albums that I have for the Manic Street Preachers are these like deluxe edition booklets. I don't have them for every album, but I do try to get them for most of the Manics records. So coming in at number 9, we have Rewind the Film again. Coming in at number 8, we have the companion record, I guess, to Rewind the Film, and that is Futurology. Like Rewind the Film, when this album came out, I was in a Manics place in my life. I was just ready to listen to some Manic Street Preachers, and this record was huge for me when it came out. I really, really love it right from the get-go. Walk Me to the Bridge, one of the band's best singles that they put out in a long time. Let's Go to War. Let's go to war. One of my favorites on this song, kind of like I Miss the Tokyo Skyline, is The Next Jet to Leave Moscow. That song is fantastic. If you haven't heard that one, you have to listen to it. Europa geht durch mich. I just butchered that. Europa geht durch mich. There you go. I tried to do it like the song. Sex, Power, Love, and Money. Love that one. What else? Between the Clock and the Bed is fantastic. Misguided Missile. This is a fantastic record. I think within the last decade, if you're going to rank the records from like 2010 to now, I think this would probably be my favorite Manic Street Preachers record. So absolutely love it. Coming in at number 8, it's Futurology. Coming in at number 7, we have the band's sophomore record, Gold Against the Soul. Now, I know Generation Terrorist was really low on this list and was an album that I didn't really connect to, but I really did connect to the anthemic punk, classic rock, 90s rock of Gold Against the Soul. This is the Manic Street Preachers really doing their anthemic thing at their best really earlier in their career. And it's so fantastic when you think about La Tristeza Guerrera, From Despair to Where, what else? Good. Druggy, Sleep Flower, Yourself, Light Becoming a Landslide, Roses in the Hospital. It's kind of like the perfect mix of the darkness and nihilistic vibe of something like the Holy Bible and Journal for Plague Lovers with the anthemic hooks of something like Gold Against the Soul or Everything Must Go or Send Away the Tigers. It's the right balance. I think it's a good mix of everything the Manic Street Preachers have to offer, and I really do love this record. So coming in at number 7 is Gold Against the Soul. Coming in at number 6 is Send Away the Tigers, the Manic Street Preachers album from 2007. That's the 10th anniversary collector's edition. This is the regular edition that I got. Sorry for the glare, when it came out in 2007. And for a lot of people, this was the album that was Manic's return to the big anthemic hooks. They released an album before this one called Lifeblood, which we'll get to on this list. They released an album called Lifeblood, which was a little bit different for them. And so maybe Manics fans weren't as enamored with that record. And so the Manics had to come back to the big guitars and the anthemic hooks that we knew from albums like Everything Must Go and Gold Against the Soul. And that's precisely what they did on Send Away the Tigers. They really brought it on this one. When you have songs like Send Away the Tigers, the title track, Underdogs, Your Love Alone Is Not Enough, which also has the singer from the Cardigans on it, The Second Great Depression, Autumn Song, I'm Just a Patsy. This album was a huge return to form for them and was an album that I was really into when it came out in 2007. Absolutely love it. And it is fantastic. I know it's coming in number 6, but it's still solid as hell. So number 6, we got Send Away the Tigers. Coming in at number 5 is that record that I was talking about, and that would be Lifeblood, one of the few Manic Street Preachers albums I have on vinyl. This one I got when I was in London, in England in 2005. I also got the CD version here as well. We got both. But coming in at number 5 is Lifeblood. I was in my last year of university when this record came out. And it was one of those records that I really latched onto, even though it's very different from the Manic Street Preachers. After Know Your Enemy, they decided to do kind of this like retro 80s electronic kind of album, which maybe wasn't the most well-received record at the time, but was just an album that I really, really just enjoyed right from the get-go and really affected me in my life when I was in my last year of university. So it came at the right time. It's got some fantastic songs on it. 1985, The Love of Richard Nixon, Empty Souls, A Song for Departure, Live to Fall Asleep is one of my favorites. Glassnose is great. It's got a great little riff on that. So this is an album that I really loved when it came out. I still love it. May not rank quite as high on other people's lists, but it definitely does for me. So in at number 5, we have Lifeblood. Coming in at number 4, we have Postcards from a Young Man. Now, when it comes to anthemic, big rock from the Manic Street Preachers, it doesn't get any better than this. And this is one of the albums that I really got into when it came out. Again, it just depends on what time of your life you're in, when the album comes out, how the album sounds. And this to me was just such a huge album from that. It's Not War, Just the End of Love, man. What a song. And it's a fantastic single. The whole thing, Postcards from a Young Man, Some Kind of Nothingness, The Descent, Hazelton Avenue, Auto Intoxication, A Billion Balconies Facing the Sun, All We Make Is Entertainment. This is a fantastic record. It's got Tim Roth on the cover. You can't go wrong when you got Tim Roth on the cover. And this album meant a lot to me when it came out. It came out during a big time of transition in my life when I was still playing music, but I was looking for some more full-time work, and I was feeling really run down and really rejected by the world. And this album came to me at a time when I really needed it. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that. And at number 4 is Postcards from a Young Man. Coming in at number 3 is the album that got me into the Manic Street Preachers, and that is This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours, featuring the mega hit, which made them more of an international band, and that is If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next. I was in high school when this came out. I had a girlfriend who had this album. She played it for me, and then I kind of became obsessed with it after that, and really still obsessed with it. What a great album. The Everlasting, If You Tolerate This, You Stole the Sun from My Heart, Ready for Drowning, Tsunami, My Little Empire, You're Born a Girl, A Black Dog on My Shoulder, Nobody Loved You. This is the album that got me into them, and that's why it's still ranked so high on my list. It's kind of a mix of anthemic Manic Street Preachers with electronic Manic Street Preachers. Great lyrics as usual from Nicky Wire. Great singing and musicianship from James Dean Bradfield and Sean Moore, of course. And just a solid effort altogether. So in at number 3, we have This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours. Coming in at number 2, we have the Holy Bible. Now, I know a lot of Manic Street Preachers fans are probably going to put this in a number 1, and it's almost there for me, but I'm going to put it in at number 2. This is the Manic Street Preachers. You know, I think there would be 2 albums, this and the number 1 album on the list, which I'm sure you can guess by now. But if you were to ask people, what would be the 2 definitive Manic Street Preachers albums to listen to? It would be Everything Must Go. Anyways, that number 1, it's not a spoiler, but and also this one, the Holy Bible, because this is kind of the exemplification of the Manic Street Preachers in 1994. So you have the big rock hooks, you have that kind of nihilistic punk attitude that they have on this record. You have the lyrics from Richie Edwards and Nicky Wire, very political, very emotional lyrics happening on this album. And it pretty much is just a distillation of what the Manic Street Preachers were all about in this period. And it has a little bit of a sad note to it because Richie Edwards went missing not long after the release of this record. So it always has that kind of casting a shadow over it, but it's still a fantastic record when you think of the songs. Yes, my favorite song on this record is the longest song title ever. If white America told the truth for one day, its world would fall apart. I love that song. I love all the different political clips that they have playing before the songs. She is Suffering, Revel, Faster, This Is Yesterday, Die in the Summertime. It's a dark record, but it's a great record. And it's not the kind of thing that you're going to put on when you're trying to party, but it still holds up awesome. And I saw them do it live when they played in Toronto, and I have my Holy Bible shirt on to boot. So going to put it in number 2, even though it's going to be number 1 for a lot of people. But for number 2, for me, it's the Holy Bible. All right, guys, coming in number 1 on the Manic Street Preachers Rock Albums Ranked, shouldn't be a surprise. It's Everything Must Go, the band's 4th record from 1996. Their big comeback after the departure of the missing Richie Edwards, and their kind of mission statement as one of the biggest anthemic rock bands in Britain at the time and to this day. This really made the Manic Street Preachers what they are today, and really you can't be surprised with songs like Elvis Impersonator, Blackpool Prior, Designed for Life, obviously one of the biggest rock singles ever. Kevin Carter, Everything Must Go. I've always loved The Girl Who Wanted to Be God. Australia is fantastic. No Surface, All Feeling. I got the regular version. I got the deluxe version, which came out in 2006. 10th anniversary deluxe edition. So it's no surprise. I know Holy Bible would be number 1 for a lot of people, but really Everything Must Go is like the Manic Street Preachers with their fist in the air, doing what they do best. It does have some leftover lyrics from Richie Edwards, as well as a lot of great lyrics from Nicky Wire. And, again, fantastic singing and guitar playing from James Dean Bradfield, incredible drumming from Sean Moore. And it's no surprise that this would be coming in at number 1. So I got to say, I love the Manic Street Preachers so much, and this album still holds up for me. So in at number 1, everybody, it's the Manic Street Preachers, Everything Must Go. All right, guys, that is my rock albums ranked for the Manic Street Preachers. Let me know what you thought and what your rankings are in the comments below. I'd love to start a little conversation about the Manic Street Preachers and their discography. I'm a huge fan. I'm sure you are too. And very excited for the new record, the Ultra Vivid Lament, which is coming out this Friday, September the 10th. I really love the singles from the record, especially Orwellian. That's a great song. So very much looking forward to the new record. So let me know what your thoughts of your rock albums ranked for the Manics are in the comments below. Also, give us a like on this video. We'd appreciate that. Also, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Rock Squad Pod. Check out our band, Fools Union, at foolsunion.com, and make sure to check out the Rock Squad podcast and more rock albums ranked and rock album reviews here on the Rock Squad channel. We're posting all the time, so make sure you check it out. So we'll see you guys again for another rock albums ranked video. In the meantime, rock on.